Ladies and gentle hands, welcome back to the hardcore world, and today we are back in the nether. Yes, we'll be working more on the nether today. As you could probably tell by the thumbnail, I've gone a little bit crazy with what we're building today. I've been really enjoying sinking my teeth into this post-industrial, kind of apocalyptic, if you will, kind of build style, and it's so much fun to work on. I've just been so inspired. And I just want to keep working the nether. It's just such a cool environment, especially like in the Soul Sand Valley with this cool blue sky and everything. I'm very excited to continue working on it. And a lot of you guys seem to be really enjoying the build process as well. And maybe it's been inspiring some of you guys too out there. So yeah, we're pretty much going to dedicate the rest of this episode to expanding out the rest of the nether junction over here. This isn't even our freaking hub. Isn't that crazy? Hold on, I need to show you guys the progress we've made over here is drastic, right? We have this building here. We got some storage areas, we got some mountains and a lot more tunnels and a lot more detail. If we go all the way back over to the main hub area, you can see that we've only worked on this one little sliver right here, and it looks really cool. Like, I really like this area, and it really helped establish the kind of theme and the vibe we were going for. But this other area, the train yard junction, has really settled into becoming my favorite part of the nether hub. So eventually we'll work on the main area as well, but we're going to try to finish out the rest of this junction here to really get the whole theme set up. And I'm really excited to show you guys what I've been cooking. But before we sink our teeth into today's build, we need to visit the Cyberpunk City and our Happy Gas. So last episode, we worked on our Happy Gas gas station, which a lot of you guys seem to really love the name and also love the Happy Gas. Look how cute he is, man. I love the Happy Gas. But I also asked you guys to leave name suggestions for what we're going to name the Happy Gas, and I thought I would go over the top 3 comments because I think all 3 of them were really good names, and we landed on whatever is on the name tag in my hotbar there. So in 3rd place, we had Garce. This was by Shoe Dude Prince. I love this name because it's always a little pun on my name, and I just like these little stupid names. In 2nd place, we had Fumi Bean with Oogly Boogly. I really like this name just because it's stupid, and I think it's fun to say. But in 1st place, we had Ryan Gasling from Rock Solid Faith. And I guess Ryan Gasling is our gas name. No, this is a democracy. I respect your guys' vote, but I personally would have gone with Oogly Boogly or Garce. But there you go, Ryan Gasling. Welcome to the hardcore world. But yeah, a lot of you guys were leaving comments too saying that this building was freaking awesome and it has inspired some of you guys and you guys love the retroism in it, and I do too. I'm very much a big fan of this whole works here, and it seems to catch on a little bit too with some other content creators, which I think is pretty sick. You know, we'll try our best too to try to use the Happy Gas as much as possible and try not to abuse the elytra so much. I've realized recently, especially since like a lot of you guys have been seeing my first episode of the hardcore series and being like, oh, I thought you said no elytra and stuff like that. And yes, I did say no elytra, but also like my world is so big and it's so convenient to get around. Oh my gosh. To clarify on that statement though, it's more like I want to build from the ground perspective and use horses a lot more to get around the area and kind of how I'm supposed to experience the world. And I just use the elytra here named Horse to just get around faster when I gotta go grab resources, or especially in the nether hub. As I've been working so much in the nether hub, it's just so much faster to go back and forth from the nether to the overworld with the elytra rather than, you know, bringing a horse into the nether and everything. All right, but that's enough goofing around, guys. I think we got to get started on our nether project. I have some resources. I got to gather a lot more of this going on and just so many blocks. We're making a lot of progress today. I need to do some AFKing at the Moss Tower. I have a lot on my plate to gather, and this is definitely going to be a multi-day project. And I'm recording this on the 4th of July, and this is supposed to be going out on Sunday the 6th? So let's see if I screw up or not. Let's see if I lock in and get this done. But I'm really excited to show what I have built. But we'll take little breaks and I'll talk about what we're working on and all that fun stuff. So anyways, as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the montage. All right, here's our first little progress update. We worked on this beautiful right mountain here. I think I missed a little bit of it in the replay. I accidentally was paused because I had to go run and grab more resources. But here it is, and it's looking pretty good. I mean, it's just like a nice little continuation of our normal mountain. We have it sloped down a little bit here, and we have some more trees. And I think this actually makes me want to have some more layers that are a bit lower. So I think over here, I've been talking about trying to connect up this little layer to, this lower layer. And I think we'll do something similar to this over here, and we'll have a nice little slope. And then we also have a bunch of space way out over here. And actually on a live stream, we hung out together and we worked on this area right in front of me, and it is looking super awesome. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. We're gonna make a nice little electrical grid right here, like those little weird fenced off areas you probably see every so often in kind of urban areas. But yeah, we'll work on a nice little electrical grid right behind me here. We'll continue out the rail here, the abandoned rail going forward, and I think behind the radio tower here, we will make some Ukrainian dystopian apartments. Now, if you're not quite familiar with what I'm talking about, I've seen a lot of Chernobyl, the show. It's a show that came out, I think, back in 2019, and is an absolutely fantastic show for kind of the theme that I'm going for here with like the post-industrial, abandoned dystopian kind of feel of it. So right behind the radio tower here, we'll make some nice layers of some dystopian apartments, and they'll look really, really cool. I am so excited with how they turned out. They'll just be a nice little backdrop. I feel like we're really focusing on the set design of this junction here, and I'm really just running wild with my ideas and my vision, and especially just the fog in here. I feel like it just creates such a cool atmosphere for what we're creating here. And I think, when we finally come out of this tunnel here on the left side, this angle, this view will be complete, and it'll look amazeballs. Then we also worked on the right tunnel here, and this one's kind of a bit more embedded with the mountain, unlike these other ones where they're kind of out a bit more from the mountain. They have like all these trees, and then the mountains are kind of behind. I wanted to switch it up here and just do straight up in the mountain. A little bit of foliage hanging over, some vines starting to grow. But these tunnels right here are just going to be a bit more decorative. This will just be a very similar tunnel to what we have coming into this area from the main junction all the way over there. So we'll add more graffiti into this tunnel. So make sure to submit more graffitis. I will always be trying to add in more graffitis into these tunnels because it's so freaking awesome. So please feel free to submit more graffitis for this tunnel coming up here. And then on this left side here, we have the abandoned track. And I think we'll work on another train on the inside of this another time. But yeah, this is a little bit of a taller tunnel here because we have, this big old train over here. That somehow has to make sense on how it fits into here. And then we're going to do these little iron bar things right here so you can see between the two tracks. I think it's just a nice little detail to kind of break up the monotony of the stone walls of the normal tunnels. And then finally over here, we worked on this tiny little train house. And I actually found a really awesome website where this guy kind of just is obsessed with trains and train stations and all these abandoned train tracks. And he goes around the US and takes all these crazy cool photos. And this was a photo reference from his website. I'll put it up on the screen right now. Hopefully I remember. Editor Barce, please remember. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool details in that photo that I think I want to eventually try to add in to some of these different areas here. I didn't actually go through the effort of trying to design anything, like especially those cross little beams with the lights on them. I didn't end up doing any of that stuff. So maybe we try doing that a little bit in the future. But this little train house is in the background of that photo. And I really loved the little the tower part of it with these really cool arches and like the white little thing coming up. I don't know. I thought it was really neat, and I thought this would just be a nice little backdrop piece to kind of just fill up the space a little bit. And you know what? One more little detail I think I want to do is this tower is all made of stone, and I think it would be nice to go through and add in a little bit of red and a bit of a checkerboarded pattern, if that makes sense. So maybe we do like a red layer here, red layer there, red layer there, red layer, and a red layer. I think that would just be nice to kind of break it up, and I would think it would make it look a little bit more like a radio tower, or just maybe some sort of, industrial wired, I don't know what to call it, like scaffolding tower, I guess, right? So I think adding a little bit more color into this would look really nice with, especially with the color, the sky tint that we have going on here. But anyways, I think that's enough yapping. Let's get back into building here. I want to work on the mountains here and the electrical grid and maybe the first of the Ukrainian apartment style building over here. And then I'll get back to you guys and then we'll finish up the rest of the build. Oh my goobly gob. I am tired of this. Holy crap. It feels like I've put so much effort into this and it feels like so little right now. But it has been a grind. Look at all of these shulkers I have over here and then plus my inventory. This is getting absurd. But as you can see, we worked on the electrical grid over here, which I think looks pretty freaking sick. I love the little details up here with the candles, the lightning rods, and all the little redstone components up there just to make it look a little bit busy, like there's some electrical stuff going on up there. Then we got some chains kind of hanging across, connecting up to the other side here, and we got some like generator things and a little bigger of a generator right there and some cool redstone stuff. I don't know. It's all like kind of makes some sense and just is a nice little foreground thing for the rest of the build. And over here we added this cool blue fence. I don't know why, but I thought a blue fence would look really cool to kind of surround the radio tower. And I think I talked about it in another clip, but I want to add in some red stripes into this radio tower. And I actually just remember that I should do that. So maybe we'll do that between clips here. Then we added in this nice little wall around here. I'm kind of thinking, you know, originally I was wanting to surround this whole area with these stone-faced cliffs or whatever, all the way around this area. But I think it would be a little too repetitive and it would kind of feel a little weirdly claustrophobic. So I think it would be nice to kind of break that up on this side especially. And I think we'll do a little bit of a forest on the other side of this wall here. And then on this side of the wall and this wall is where we're going to have all of our dystopian, Ukrainian, maybe even Russian brutalist kind of apartment buildings. Also right past this little, you know, like little train booth right here. I think this is really, really neat. But yeah, right over here in these big old empty area here, we're going to make an apartment building here, one right up here, and then we're going to make one all the way back here. And this is going to be our tallest one too. And I think most of my resources that I have left over are now dedicated to these 3 buildings. And there's a lot of little details in these buildings too, and a lot of random blocks too. Look, I almost got a full shulker of pale oak signs and just like so much random little stuff. Look how many pale oak fences I had to craft and all these quartz and everything. Oh man, I'm dwindling through all of my resources, but it'll be worth it because this is such a cool build when it's all completed. I'm really excited to show you guys. All right, but I think we should get back to it because I just kind of wanted to share my pain and my misery I'm going through. And I'm also so sorry that this video is probably going to come out on a Tuesday. It has just been so brutal. I am being a little too ambitious with this nether hub in a good way, you know, like the builds that we're making and like the environment we're creating is so freaking cool. But like, man, the amount of time that I have to dedicate to these builds is not nearly enough time to release these videos on the time frame that I want to. So maybe next episode, we take it easy. We maybe work on something a little bit smaller. If you guys have any suggestions for maybe what I should work on or any little details you think I should add to this area, please let me know in the comments down below. All right, y'all, let's finish out the rest of this environment, the rest of this build. I'm really excited to show you guys what I have cooked up, and I think that's about all I gotta say. So as always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the montage. Please remind me to never have this many shulker boxes ever again. But as you could tell from the montage, our backdrop is finally done. Yes, this was all just for a little bit of a backdrop, a little bit of background for this area. It is way too much, but it's exactly how I envisioned. It looks so freaking dope. Oh my goodness. Well, I just want to keep getting further and further away. I want to check out this angle. Oh my god, it's perfect. That's exactly how I want it to look. Yes! That looks so cool. I just love all the different layering we have going on with all this now. We have that really tall apartment building back there. We have the front one right up here, and we have this little tiny guy right here too. It's nice and staggering with the big radio tower in front. Little electrical grid here for a little bit of noise. It's just so cool, especially this angle right here. It's pretty fun. Anyways, let's talk about this first building here. This is a building I made with my friend Rob, and we wanted to go with a bit more of a warmer tone with this building compared to the other two, which are a bit more cooler toned here, and then maybe a bit more green brown on that further one back there. So we went with the quartz, smooth quartz to be specific, a little bit of calcite for a bit more of the neutral white in there. And then we used bone blocks, sandstone, and a tiny bit of endstone. You can see it on some of the corners there. And then we lined it all with the birch stairs upside down style and a little bit of sandstone as well. I feel like it creates a nice little bit of a layering effect on these buildings, and they feel a bit more like manufactured and then like kind of just stacked on top of each other. That's kind of how the Ukrainian buildings that I'm referencing were actually created during the Soviet Union. Then up top here, we have some Cyrillic. It's kind of abstract, especially on this one compared to the further back one over there. If you can translate that, cookie for you. Yeah, then we have these cool little windows right here. I thought these were a neat little detail that Rob threw in. Just kind of, you know, creates some uniqueness in the buildings, kind of similar to what we did on this other building here, which we actually made on a live stream earlier in the week. This one is really fun because I love the cooler tone palette we did here with the white concrete, then going into diorite, which is just a nice blend between those bluer tones into the more of the solid clay color right here. Then actually on the side of this building here, I thought it would be neat to do a little bit of graffiti, and I did an eyeball with like a little bit of eyebrow, a nose, and then right here, it's supposed to say always, but you know, it's pretty abstract. It's kind of in my graffiti font, if you will, so it's really hard to tell that even remotely says always, but you know, like always watching the government. Let's hop in the cheaty cam here so I can show you guys some of the more intricate details of the windows here. I loved using this pattern here of the white stained glass panes and the pale oak fences there. I think it creates a nice, like, you know, I don't know, like multi-lined kind of style for these windows. And also we do the signs on top to just really create that nice bordered effect. And then we have a few of these with little balconies. And for some reason, these ones, I did copper on the bottom. I think I just kind of did it mostly to break up the monotony of all of these kind of balconies going on here. Also, I wanted to go in and add in some areas where it kind of felt like it was boarded up and they did some repairs. So we added in a little bit of color with the sandstone and some pink wood over there, and same over here, and kind of covered it up a little bit with some signs. And I think that's a nice little detail. And also throwing in a little bit of banner action for some color and a little bit of life. And then finally, we have this behemoth back here. I think this is genuinely like one of the biggest builds I've done with so many different blocks. And I actually just realized that this right here is supposed to be the outside mushroom block texture. Oh, goodness gracious. I don't have any more of these on me, so I can't fix it right now. Please forgive me. Yeah, this building was really cool to design. I actually based this one off of another image I took from my research into all the Ukrainian buildings. I kind of just recreated this one nearly one for one. I really liked the layered style on here, and also doing this like weird jut out here with a different style window. We're using spruce on these ones with a little bit more of like the jungle kind of darker tan colors here with the wax copper, some mud bricks, and some jungle wood. I think it works really well. And then finally a little bit of green in there as well, going straight through the middle, kind of creating some more like solid foundation to it. And I just wanted this one to be a high rise, you know, just to stand out from the background, but also to not be too tall, because we still have the radio tower as like our highest point, our focal point, if you will, our kind of anchor in this whole area, kind of tying everything together. Now, I might have mentioned it in the clip previous, but I did want to build a forest back here, but I simply don't have the energy. I need to yell at you guys. I'm mad. Okay, I'm actually not mad at you guys, but man, I need to let some stress out. This was so much time put into this build. I did 6 hours of resource grinding. I almost should have made a montage out of it with how much resource grinding I did. I had to grab so much blackstone, a lot more deep slate. I went through all of my deep slate, kind of just working on these mountains over time. I had to get more tough. Oh my gosh, I had to get more terracotta. I had to get a lot more quartz. I had to go mining for quartz. My villagers could not handle it. And I did all this for you. So if you don't mind, please like the video and maybe even leave a little comment below and be like, good job, Barce. I might need it. I'm so freaking exhausted. But despite my anger towards you guys, I love doing this stuff. I mean, I just love seeing the final product of my builds. And especially in this environment where we're building in the nether, you know, we have to build up every single thing, and every single block here is like intentionally placed by me. And I think that goes like so far in my mind of just creating such a cool environment that, I only will see this every so often when I'm kind of coming through to go to Seaside or to go to the desert or whatever. But I did it earlier. I kind of drove through here on the minecarts when I went to go, and I just was astonished with like, wow, this looks so amazing. And I'm really, really happy with how this has all come out. And I hope it's inspired some of you guys to work on your nether hubs, to maybe get a little bit ambitious with it, but maybe not as ambitious as me, because I'm going crazy and I'm crazy. I was crazy once. Once again, I am sorry for this being on a Tuesday upload. Yucky, but look, good thing it's during the summer, so like, it's not the end of the world. Hopefully y'all are done with school and no more stress. Y'all can just hang out and get ready for my videos while I stress over what I'm going to be building next. But anyways, y'all, thank you so much for watching. As always, I really do appreciate it. Of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. If you liked the video, make sure to like. And if you really liked me, consider joining as a member and supporting me during my expeditions of building these crazy things. Big shout out to all of the Barcer pluses on the side of your screen right now. Thank you all so much for supporting me. I really do appreciate it. All right, y'all, I think that's going to do it. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.